So this framework took me way too long to put together, but I'm really excited to share with you how to go from data to profitability as an e-commerce leader. So stick around till the end. I'm going to show you how to communicate this internally to your business partners and other stakeholders so that they understand exactly what your gaps are in terms of bringing that data together to make better decisions. If you don't know already, I'm Alex from PenPath, and we're an e-commerce intelligence platform, and we automate these growth opportunities living across your data. And again, this is a quick 5-step framework to communicate how to do all this in a non-technical way. So you weren't born learning how to drive a car, you're not born learning how to bring all your information together to make better decisions. And hopefully this video will help you through that step, through that process, I should say. So I'm gonna go through the 5 steps real quick, and then I'm gonna break them down in detail for you. And yeah, so here, let's go ahead and jump right into it. So like the 5 steps to going from data to profitability are: number 1, data, right? So you gotta bring all your data and information together. Step number 2 is visualizing that data. Somehow you need to interface with it, whether it's Excel or some fancy dashboard. It needs to be visualized in some way to understand it and interpret it, because you can't be living in databases somewhere that you can't see and understand and access. Number 3 is insights and questions. So once you bring all that data together and it's in a visualization, you need to be able to answer very important questions for your business and understand morsels of information that may provide a huge breakthrough for you. Number 4 is what to do and activities, right? So ultimately, what are you going to do when you answer those questions? Do you know what you need to do, right? And number 5 is outcomes. So where is your business going once you do these things, and how do you get there faster with the help of your data? So let's go ahead through these very quickly. And again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the 5th one and go back to the first. Because what we found after many trials and errors of this is that, if you're communicating it to decision makers and executives, or if you are an executive, this is a way that will help you just basically give you like the so what of all of this, and help you communicate it to others. So the 5th thing is having an outcome and objective. So if you don't already, make sure you have this for your business. Pick one KPI and make sure that you have a target for it and where you want to be. Quick tip is, like, if you grew 20% compared to last year, then maybe you want to grow another 20% as your next targets. And maybe you want to have a number of what that is, right? So if you were at X dollars, then you're at 20% above that. So you say, hey, we're going to be at $5 million by the end of this year, or maybe you're going to set your targets for next year. So that's step number 5, and we're going to work our way backwards. Setting your targets and outcomes for your business. Number 4 is activities. So this one is a little open-ended, but just write all of the things that you're currently doing as a business to increase your revenue, if that's your main KPI, or profitability, whatever it is. So do you work with agencies? Do you have your budgets? Do you create content? Do you increase your rankings on SEO? Do you work with influencers? Do you have strategic initiative? Like, what are all the things that you do? Do you send emails, text us? Just write them all down. Just have a list of all the things that you do. These are going to be your levers, and ultimately when you have data, then they have to be associated with something that you do, or else it's a waste of time. So don't worry about, connecting it all. Just, this is to wrap your head around how, again, to go from data to profitability. Okay, so step number 3 is questions and insights. So these are the things that are like, what are the morsels of information that ultimately help you do more of what works and less of what doesn't. So list out all the questions that you typically answer, or asking, or wish you knew, and think about a couple of tips for this that'll help you wrap your head around it. So think about segmenting your data. So if you have aggregation, you see things holistically, what segments of data are going to help you understand what to do? Think about ranking. So ranking is a great way to say, hey, what are our top selling countries, states? What are top selling products, top selling categories? What are bottom selling? Let's do less of what doesn't work and more of what works. Think about trends. Maybe you're going to see something across time. Maybe you want to compare. Maybe it's against prior period. Maybe it's against prior year. Maybe it's year to date. How do you want to see those pieces of information? Do you want to see it by month, day, year, quarter? How do you want to see it? So have a conversation with your team and figure out how the insights and questions will help you get to your what to do's. Okay, then we need an interface with this data. So ultimately you're going to use, how are you going to engage with it? Are you going to have something like a Tableau, maybe a data studio, maybe Excel, whatever it is, right? You're going to have to interface with this data and see it and interact with it. So just write down, how would you want to interact with it? Maybe how you would want to see it. Think about some of the segmentation capabilities we talked about, maybe filters, whatever. And then last but not least is data. So what platforms are you using? Make a list of all the platforms that have your data, and that's what you're ultimately going to have to connect. Quick tip on this is like something as simple as total spend, right? Where AKA your budget. Most people actually don't have a total spend location where you can see, here's how much we spent across Facebook, Google, Instagram, Reddit, TikTok, influencers. There's just no place to see that. So make sure that, think about, okay, well, great. What if we had all spend and then we had all revenue? We can then have blended ROAS, also known as MER, marketing efficiency ratio. We could see, how is spend influencing revenue. It's just one of the many metrics you could use to understand your business. So, okay, so those are the 5 steps. If you're going to communicate this to business people, again, start with the 5th one. Start with the outcome, write it down, and then reverse engineer to data. If you feel like you don't know some of these or you aren't doing some of these, don't feel bad. Please don't, because actually most people that we work with or most of our customers don't have some of these, and so it's totally understandable, but you got to start somewhere. And if you're talking to technical people or data people, you may want to start with the data and then work your way to outcomes. That's also helpful. But yeah, practice going forwards and backwards from outcome to data, from data to outcome. And believe me, you're now going to be so much more fluent in getting what you want. You're going to be more organized. This, again, avoided a lot of the technical jargon that you can certainly go and look into. But this is just for executives. We had a Fortune 500 customer recently utilize our framework to talk to their teams and get their heads around what they needed to do. So I hope it helps you as well. So anyways, this is the video. Subscribe if you want more content on increasing profitability with the help of your data, and like if you got value from it. Leave a comment if there's anything you want to add, if I missed anything, if there's something that you want to correct. I'm Alex with PenPath. Thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you later.